how would you expect them to react?
And there's just consistency too. Like there's a few people that are consistent, they're on the call every day or they're here in the office. And then other days, like there's a few people that, I mean, I have no clue, you know, some days they're on the call, some days they're not. I mean, the call's the same time every single morning, you know what I mean? So like, it's predictable, you know what it's going to be, it's very easy to maneuver around anything else that you're doing, you know? Like, it's very easy to set aside time for the call. I mean, it won't take long. And and I understand if you're in a hurry and you need to get on the call, like today Josephine, she got on the call and she said, hey, I need to go first, can I go first? I have no problem with that.
Or even text ahead of time.
Yeah.
Text ahead of time to Brandon or Craig or Brandon and Craig or Brandon and Rhiannon and Craig, somebody. Just text ahead of time, say, I need to go as fast as possible. Awesome. I love to see those texts, because what does that tell me?
You're busy.
No.
Intent.
That tells me that you're looking forward in your business. Okay? That tells me that here's my calendar, here's my activity. I know this is important and I need to get in there first. I need to get my job done, get in, get my numbers posted, and get the hell out. But it shows me you're working forward thinking in your business. Okay? Schedule 411 with Patty and Craig, please, this week. I want to meet everybody for two reasons. One, we're going to talk about brevity. We're going to talk about your leads in sync. We're going to talk about bridging that gap. We're also going to talk about your activities and holding you accountable. And it's a weekly thing. 15 minutes. Hold me accountable to the 15-minute conversation. If it runs over, we probably should have a secondary conversation. Some of you I'm going to be reaching out to you to have one-on-ones with. That is not part of your 411. Okay? Monthly winner.
So,
I was the winner?
you were the winner. I
What?
have the picture. I
Unbelievable.
purposely did not bring my phone in here, but it was on the phone. Just
I
had
thought
it
it was
on.
him.
Took a photo, too.
Did you take
Yeah.
a photo?
So, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my.
Remind me to give you $100. Don't forget.
Where's my money? I want it now.
Yep. So let's move on to the appointment board. Who is the winner?
Patty.
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 Because she has
She
the.
left out. She just
literally,
left out. Yeah. Just left.
Okay, so Patty won.
Setting and holding another appointment.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I won now.
Poor Connor.
We probably don't need all of these.
Yeah, Connor's set game is on point.
Good job, Patty.
Good job, Patty. You won the,
You won
the weekly.
We just cut that.
And then you can have those back. All right, so good job. Huddle calls. So we talked a little bit about huddle calls. I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago, my intention is for everybody to get in to the office for the huddle call. There is currently one person who has advanced permission not to be in here for the huddle calls, and that's Tracy. And there's one person who doesn't get here until 9:30 right now, and that's Patty. No excuse from anybody else. You need to let me know
Okay.
what's going on, because we haven't had that conversation. Okay, so I do want everybody to show up unless you've got, if you've got something, tell me. I'm cool. Okay, it's not a requirement, it's a standard. And if you don't have a really good reason, I'm probably going to be able to pull other things that aren't a good reason either. And that would just have another conversation. But I do see value, and I would like you guys to get in here, and we will be having other agents start running the huddle calls. I want them to be as fast as possible. I want them to just be a morning, high energy, accountability. Let's get our numbers. Let's have that conversation real quick, and let's get on with our day. There are some good things that come out of it. Some of you hear that, some of you don't. Some of you understand that I beat up other agents, and I really should be beating you up. It's just that the other agents has stronger shoulders and they can take it. But really, they're taking it for some of you guys. I mean, they really are. Because some of the conversations that we're having on the huddle call, you relate to. Okay? So just know that the team's taking one for you. Listings taken, photo of home. So we talked about that this morning. We are taking listings and a couple of things happening. One, we tend to have them pushed out by 5 to 7 days because of photography. Rihanna can talk a little bit more about the liability we have by not having a withholding off of the MLS. But the photo, I want the photo taken for two reasons. I want you to be able to start pre-marketing that home as a coming soon. And we will capture that information, we'll do some of that marketing on your behalf. So from here on, when you go to a listing appointment and you get the listing contract signed and you're ready to drive away, stop, turn around, take a photo of the front of the house to the best of your ability. And if there is a number sign, make sure that's in the photo. So, 1605. And the reason why is, and I want that to be a standard, is we can get really creative and take photos because we don't want to see all the trash and we don't want this, we don't want that. And my concern is that at some point somebody's going to walk in and go, well, here's the photo of the front of the house and it's going to have 3 houses. What can we really do with that? Not a lot. So if it does have the numbers, make sure the numbers are on the photo, because that's going to help you at least know I'm getting the front on of the phone. Of the home. It's not about the home being presented in its best light, it's just so we can start doing some marketing, pocket listings and all that stuff. Okay? Do you want to say something about the holding off the market?
Yeah, there's a form that needs to be signed, and I'm telling you, Sharon is a stickler, and she is a rule follower, and she wants us all to be rule followers so we don't get fined. So if you're not going to put it on the market within the first 24 hours, 48 actually, then there's a special form that needs to be signed and notarized.
Yeah, that's the worst part, it has to be notarized. However,
Shirley?
Shirley can notarize it. I don't know if there's anybody else in the office.
I do, no.
And I don't know that I can, because I'm the listing agent, so I wouldn't be able to notarize a withholding.
But know that they can go to their bank, they can go to, I think, the UPS, there's a bunch of places they can go. It's
And-
not that
yeah.
hard.
And we can.
For it to go live, all it needs is the one picture of the front of the house, is that?
Yes, but you are damaging yourself by doing that.
Well, I just mean, but you said 24 to 48 hours if you can't get the photographer out there in 48 hours.
And it just says
is-
no photo, right?
So the rule, you has to have a front of house
Photo, yeah.
clear photo
Oh.
view in
It
order to
does?
put it on the
Oh,
MLS.
because I see
Why is there so
photos.
many with no
All
photos?
day, every day
Rentals.
with no photo available. Yeah.
Okay,
People
so
are
they
following
have,
Personal practice.
they have
that's
48
their
hours to get it
business.
up there, and if not, they're getting a fine.
Yep.
So there's,
Unless they have a document that's signed that says withdraw or withhold photos.
which they could.
And they could,
Fair enough.
okay?
There's
And
no
we-
reason not to have one at the front of the house, so that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it does happen. Okay, so moving on, teamtivvy.com email addresses. Anybody have any issues with theirs?
Yes, I still need to get
Mine.
mine fixed.
Okay,
Mine just goes straight to the.
Visit Jody, she's had problems, she's fixed them.
Yeah, and then we're gonna use that, we're gonna start uploading stuff on the SharePoint, but we need everybody on the Team Tiffy address.
because that's your access to the
Yeah.
Team Tiffy SharePoint drive. So we're gonna get all of our marketing and videos and documents and everything that is not .loop related, so except for contracts, everything's gonna go into a SharePoint,
Yes.
okay?
Perfecto.
So the OneDrive basically?
Yeah, stop saying
Yep, yep, we don't even call it OneDrive anymore, now it's called SharePoint.
SharePoint.
because that's what it is, it's a SharePoint drive.
The only thing that is on a
Yeah,
OneDrive,
Brandon.
which I would like to probably get into the same place,
You can't, he already told us that.
okay? Well, no, I know we can get it in SharePoint. Can we get it into a OneDrive in the SharePoint?
No, he
Okay,
said no.
alright. The only thing that's on a OneDrive is CTE.
And it's
on
operates
its own.
personal, yeah.
It's on its own separated thing. So from this point on, we don't call it a OneDrive account, we call it a SharePoint.
Because OneDrive is associated with
The CTE.
inaccess. Not
Yeah.
getting to it.
And that was our problem, like, it was frustrating last week, it was frustrating. Alright, so, moving on, Brevity. So I expect to have access to Brevity today. That would be my win. I don't know where we're at, I know she signed it, you sent it, all that stuff has been done.
It has not all been done, it will all be done before the end of the day, we have an appointment with them tomorrow at 2, so I am expecting that we are live
And
tomorrow
is
at
the
2.
team on that appointment?
No,
Okay, it's
They don't
just,
need to be.
it's
It'll-
the back end.
it's
Okay.
gonna be the people who have been meeting about it this whole time.
Okay, so, and those of you who have been meeting about it, you know about it. So I'd love to have access today, cause I still haven't been into the back end to play around. But the more that we start getting into it, and we start sending them stuff, and we start going through the design process, the more excited I am about it. There's just some really great things. I let, Jamie Lewis know on the way out
So
that,
you can, yeah, have the
that we are
conversation.
not happy with Sync, and I'm going to make it a personal life's mission to let everybody who is not happy with Sync know that there's other options. And I just wanted to let her know that. She goes, well, actually, I came from a meeting last week in California where that was the biggest problem, is that we bought Sync and people are not happy, and I'm sorry, Craig, I thought I would have time to fix it for you.
Chicago title? Thought-
Fidelity owns Sync,
Oh,
yes.
they just reformatted the page on there.
Yes, and it is, it's growing pains, and they're not moving forward fast enough, and they're just pissing off a lot of people.
Wow, so there's a lot of people that are feeling that way.
Yeah, so,
Just us.
Good to know.
yeah, it's not just, and usually that's not the case, like, I'm not usually the exception. I tend to stay with things a little too long, so it's all good, we move on. Although we're all in on brevity, guys, you know, there are not too many more out there.
Pretty much dried wall.
Yeah, for some reason, in my opinion, if brevity like
Doesn't work.
died tomorrow, we would probably go back to Boomtown. You know, cause at least Boomtown was just expensive, but they were a solid platform, and they treated us solidly. And so
It was
that,
consistent.
yeah, that means a lot to me, so, hopefully we don't have to. And quite honestly, Sync gave us the farm to move to them. Like, they gave us so much. And when that year finally ran up, I looked at what we were now gonna have to pay, the customer service, the lack of support, and that's why we looked
Massive
into
billing
brevity.
issues.
Oh, Bill, yeah, I mean, the list can go on and on.
Charging
I
credit
mean, to give
cards
you,
for no
to give you
reason.
an idea what they're doing right now, they somehow had saved all of my past credit cards, and they are now going through and trying to charge all of them for August. I paid them through July. I have not paid them a dime for August, and I have no intention, and they're now, like, they're not allowed to save my credit card information, but they are going through all of, and I'm, like,
Did you
sent
have
it
to
yesterday.
cancel all those?
They are all canceled. But they're going through them, and they're trying to figure out, you know, well,
Which one has
which
money
one
on-
has money that we can charge, and I'm sending them to her going, look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
Cause I get an automated invoice that says attempted charge, attempted this, attempted that.
That's even,
So,
I mean,
there
you can
were-
take them to court for that, right? Technically?
There were credit cards that we gave them, we said, okay, for this one time, for this one thing, you can use this particular card, and they're going back and they're
Yeah,
trying to charge
those
everything.
cards, yeah. Give me my money. But see, that's what happens when you, I mean, we have that a lot, like, I have a lot of auto pay set up with a lot of our stuff. You know, imagine somebody like going into your wallet or purse whenever they want, as soon as they know you're putting money in it, they just go in and they take what they want when they
And
want.
I don't even have.
And they don't even tell you how much they're going to take. I wouldn't mind so much if I had an invoice in advance that said, hey, we're gonna bill you on the 1st for this much. They don't even do that.
They just take it.
They
Hey,
take
by the
whatever
way-
they take the platform fee, and then they took whatever they spent on your marketing, your ad spend. And they just go into your account and take it out.
It was insane, I don't even know, like, they must have some sort of fantastic relationship with our bank, because
They got some,
money,
they
boom,
got
out.
some person there that goes, we got some.
Oh my.
Crazy, yeah. So that has always been a concern, but then when you add all of the rest of the problems to it, you're like, you don't deserve to have this money. You know, you won't call me, you won't set an appointment with me, you won't tell me what my conversion rates are, you won't do anything. The only recourse I have is to turn you off from all of my cards and order new credit cards. Because
Thank
it
you,
is, I mean, it's upwards of $3,000 to $5,000 depending on what they're taking out of the account. You know, and so when you're not happy with somebody,
And some months
It's a
they
lot
were
of money.
charging us double.
yeah, some months they would charge it, go back in and charge it in and go, oops, sorry.
But didn't you officially cancel it?
What do you mean officially? No,
No.
we haven't officially canceled anything yet.
No, not yet.
We're not until we can get everything
Transfer.
off and
But the-
transfer over
But
and
the
go
year
live.
contract is up, right?
Yeah,
The
I'm on
year-
a month to month now, and they want me to trade another contract, and
you know
I think
how
she
it-
realized that last month when I never responded back to her.
Yeah.
So I think they and that's why they're just trying to go in and get August's money.
Trying to get as
in
much money
advance.
as they
Like
can.
they're 3-4 times a day. They're going in and they're just trying to charge different cards.
Hmm.
It's kinda comical. So,
That's
brevity.
about
We're all in on brevity. We need to plug in. I sent you all a little video and I sent you some links. How many have gone through those links?
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
in full detail, but.
No,
How many are going to go through those links tonight?
I don't think I have
I
anyone
wanna-
scheduled for Tuesday next week, so I'll try to set up some kind of training for Brivity.
That would be great. There's some good stuff in there. I went through some of those videos, the KWE, quickly, yeah, get it, KWKLY, that was interesting, I just thought of that.
Ta-da.
Yeah, so you don't see it on the surface, but Ben is in with KW and their technology. And I think, in my opinion, I have no proof of this, but in my opinion, Ben is doing a lot of our KW Connect and Cloud and all that stuff. Like, he's the mastermind, his companies, cause you've got, he owns a bunch of internet, real estate technology companies, tech companies.
Who's Ben?
Ben Kinney, I think he's doing all of that, and then he's kind of giving it all over, or at a cost, to KW, and then KW is saying, adding a spin on it. Even though I don't have proof on that, cause I don't think they would publicly announce that.
Do you think that the new KW Labs, or whatever it was called, the new platform that Gary Keller's working on, is that gonna be a mirror of Brivity, or is Brivity just gonna disappear once that happens?
Well, Brevity's never gonna disappear, because it has a following outside of Keller Williams.
Okay, so do you think Ben will still use it though? I mean, he probably will because it's his own.
I think that there is going to be some sort of mastermind between the two, and this is a for-profit, and this is a not-for-profit.
Cause do you think Gary Keller has his hands on Brevity, like?
Well, the guy who I talked to said the artificial intelligence that they're releasing on Brevity over MegaCamp is Kelly.
Is Kelly.
It's just at a Brevity level.
Yeah.
It's actually the same system. He said that. And then he also said that they are going to be releasing a mobile platform on or around MegaCamp.
Cause Ben knows Gary Keller personally.
There, it's his top, it's his protege, and it's his top 10.
Yeah.
Ben was brought up through Keller Williams. He's
Lives
read.
and breathes.
Yeah, he lives, eats, breathes Gary Keller. He's his protege. In fact, I think if anything ever happened to Gary,
He'd probably take
something
over.
tells me that Ben would probably
Take over
take over the reins, in my opinion. Okay, so that's Brevity. Referrals.
Did everybody get their referrals to Patty?
Yes.
What do you mean by referrals?
You weren't
What
here
is
last
this?
week, so
Okay,
we'll give
what
you
is
a
that?
pass.
Oh, really? Yay!
Huh?
Did something right. Yes.
Do you want the rental one, is that a?
Every referral that I have personally given you needs
Oh,
to get to
okay.
Patty.
And
This is
same
my
with her.
sphere, so I have to
What'd
go
you say
back
to
to
her?
my sphere and say, hey, here's where we're at, this is what we're doing, because I have nothing. I even go into most of your sinks to try to find these people, and I'm like, you're not giving me good enough notes or any notes at all. And so to make it easy, I was saying, just give Patty the updates of all of the referrals that I've given you.
Yes, that would include anything.
Yep, anything.
Okay.
You can always over and I can go, who's this, where do they come from, and then we can decide that that's not a referral I gave you. All right, so who wants to tell me what's happened in the market in the last 30 days and hold me accountable to being done on time? Yeah, what's happening in the market?
What Brings You Home is now no longer available.
Okay,
Which
and what does
is-
that mean?
Which has
You want
stopped a
that
lot of
referral,
buyers from
right?
taking action.
Okay,
Send it to me.
Because
They're
they
pulling
believe
out,
that there may be another program in
Yeah.
Verizon, but.
yeah. And so far, we're being told that's not the case.
But a lot of people are holding back on purchasing, so a lot of homes are staying on the market a little bit longer. Which
Stagnating.
almost
Little bit.
seems like it's a shift.
It's
Okay.
stagnating a little bit.
It's leveling.
Okay.
I wouldn't say we're going into a decline. I'd say we're just kind of, we were very high up and now we're kind of plateauing.
Surfing the wave a little
Okay.
bit.
How many watch the news? National news.
Yeah.
So for the last 2 weeks, headlines all over the nation about a real estate decline.
And you know what that means? Since people are now thinking that,
Perception is
it's going to
becoming
change
reality.
it. It's going to, you know what's crazy about that? Is I think the news has power to change the real estate market if
Don't
they wanted
you?
to.
Don't you? I mean, you have influence over your buyers and sellers. It's
Yeah.
just at a mega level.
But at a mega level, exactly.
Yeah. So how do you use that to your advantage? Because here is the reality.
Shift time.
You're shifting. Whether it is a traditional market shift as we think, whether it is a technology shift, which I said 3 weeks ago at a class, I said, we have shifted, guys. It's just not a financial market shift, it's a technology shift.
Is that technology, so is that like the open door, purple doors, all those kind of?
It's the perception of what could happen. So here's an example. How many here have sold a home because their buyer or seller was excited that the Raiders stadium was being built? And they purposely bought over in the southwest side near Tropicana and Flamingo. Anybody? Oh, one, me. And I still call bullshit on it. It was a perception that, oh, the Raiders stadium's gonna bring so much business, let's buy in Las Vegas. No. Raiders ain't bringing any business. They're gonna cost us money, more tax dollars, congestion, roads, all that stuff. They're not bringing us jack diddly. You know, the Strip Hotel downtown, or the Strip Hotel on the North Strip that's being built is going to bring us so much more in the long run than the Raider Stadium has ever. But the perception is, there was this shift in buyers and sellers buying in Las Vegas because of the Raiders. Okay, how many people actually bought and sold somebody a home because of that? I have a client who bought a home in part because they bought that home in part because of the location near the Raider Stadium. Oh, and by the way, they're getting ready to list the home and sell it.
I don't think necessarily the hype of, I think the hype of the stadium is kind of something that people living here kind of made up in their own minds.
Of course.
However, I do think that the stadium being built, or just the team in general, opened eyes to a lot of people that lived outside of our state, that Las Vegas is actually a town that people can live in rather than just a transient,
Party town?
visiting, like vacation town.
So you are correct.
But it's hard to track that number, I can't really.
So the only thing that changes in a shift, okay, when you're shifting from a seller's market to a buyer's market, is the buyer. The only thing that shifts in a buyer's market to a seller's market is the seller. The one thing that's always constant in a shift, it's always a broker's market. There's always buyers and sellers, there's always homes. As we transition into a buyer's market, which is what will happen, even if it's just a small little tiny buyer's market, okay, we're already seeing that. We already have listings right now that are stale on the market. And buyers are like, well, I like it and I'm gonna favorite it, but I'm not gonna buy it yet. Okay, that's a buyer's market. Demand comes down, okay, price neutralizes. We have to work a little harder. It's a little more work to get the deal done. It's a little more work to get the buyer, to work with you, the seller to list. And it takes a little longer to get paid. So you need to know that. You need to know that we are shifting. And you know what? I would love for you to come back to me in 3 months and say, Craig, you lied. Guess what? If I lied and you do what the book is telling you to do and what I'm telling you to do and what the team's intentions are, you just did more deals. Great. I call me a liar. I'll put the dunce hat on and I'll walk around the office and say I'm a liar. And you did 3 or 4 deals versus 1 or 2. You did 1 deal versus 0, because that's the reality. The shift it compresses and makes everything more solid, so it's harder to break down. Okay, that's all it is. It's a little harder to get people into momentum. It's a little harder to get the deals done. It's a little harder to find the buyers and the sellers and prospect. You'll still do the deals. Okay, so if you haven't doubled down, you need to. If you're doubling down and you're not having success,
Triple down.
Quadruple.
you need to make some major changes. Okay, you need to look into your business. You need to look into your time and your prospecting and your conversations.
Become more efficient.
Yeah, because this is gonna turn from a part-time job to a full-time job, or it's gonna turn from a full-time job to an overtime job. So just be cool with that and just say, all right, to ride the shift and to stay where I wanna stay or get where I wanna get, I'm just gonna have to make changes and adjust. Okay, the business is there. And I'm going to order a case of these, and I'm going to pay for them, and we're going to talk about a chapter a week, not at our
Like a book.
sales meeting.
Team TP.
Like a book.
Okay, and then once this book is done, we will move on to 10X, and I will pay for 10X for everybody.
I like that idea.
And we will go every week, and we'll just talk really briefly about it.
I got my notes.
I don't wanna
Yes.
spend any
Spend
more
your
than
money.
about 5 to 6 minutes on the chapter,
Yeah.
and then I'd like to just keep, and we'll just find a book. But the first one, I'll give everybody, because I think you're gonna have some good stuff out of this, okay? Alright, loyalty agreements, Thursday, day after tomorrow.
That's,
Appreciation party is Friday, that's here.
but it's free though too.
Yes, free to all KW.
Okay.
If you have another agent or friend who is not here that you wanna bring, let me know, we can get permission. KW Client Family Appreciation Pool Party is Friday, August 10th, 6:30, 8:30. Who all's going? Raise your hand. Wow,
And
because
all
we
the
care
mom-
so much
all
about our
the-
clients.
Parents in here are not coming in the morning to the office because we all have orientation for school.
Thank you for letting me know that, that's
Important.
really cool,
Yeah.
cause I don't think of that. And let's make sure it's on our calendars real quick,
Okay,
just so
I
that we
didn't
know.
realize it, so we have to give you all
That's
updated
cool.
calendars.
No, I appreciate that.
Uh,
And that'll be Friday, you said?
Yes, it's
Okay.
the same day.
Good to know.
Good call, just.
So who is going though, 6:30 to 8:30?
Yeah.
And how many of you, Tracy was just, she was just kind of,
No.
how many of you have invited your clients in past closings?
Oh, well, I just invited one.
Anybody? If you have a past client or a past closing, you need to invite them. Whether or not they will show up, you need to invite them.
Actually, Lupita's gonna be there, so you need to be there.
I might have an appointment, but I'll be there.
Okay, great. Key performance indicators has moved to Wednesday, August 15th, 1 to 2:30. Listing presentations with Rick Brinkus is Thursday, August 16th. Dialing for Dollars is Thursday from 4 to 7. Active shooter class, we talked about it last week. Disc with Sharon, we talked about it last week. And then commitment to excellent is on the 27th. Any questions on that?
These are all at the office except for the pool party.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, questions, answers, derogatory remarks. Kevin is not with us, although he's just gonna work on his personal life. He's gonna help his dad out. He thought he would make a lot more money in real estate a lot faster, and I said, you did better than most people do in their first week.
I'll agree.
So,
You know.
all the best to you. We're here for you when you wanna come back or get back into business.
Cool.
And we have 4 more that we're working on to, to get through KPAs and all that stuff.
When can we expect to see them in the office? Like Breon and.
Don't know yet, it's
I
based
saw
on their
Breon
calendars.
this morning picking something
Yeah,
up.
he came and picked up an envelope for me. Yeah, I don't have the answer yet. We're working through that, I just got their KPAs, Breon's came in this morning, so we will, go through all of that with those people, and I just keep it going. So if you run across agents that you've worked with in the business and you think, hey, you should come and interview with Craig, I have a system in place to do that. So we just need to do that, but plan every Tuesday for 2, 3, 4 people to be, just plan that people are going to be here shadowing, and when they're not, it's cool. But when they are, they are, okay?
Are we gonna still, if there's like 4 or 5, are we still gonna have the meeting in here?
We're working on moving our meeting date and times and our locations, and Rihanna will put that on the calendar for next week's conversation. So make sure you have August and September's calendars with you, okay? So that we can talk about, because your September, October, November, December will probably be the same. It's end of summer going into school year that I wanna know, but we might have to move the team meeting. Okay, so we'll put that on the calendar. Any other questions, comments, remarks? Okay, make sure the headsets stay here. I said it last week, some headsets are still disappearing. I want them all to be in the office. They can either be hung up here, or they can just be left on the desk. Make sure you put your stuff away in your thing, at night. We throw out all the food on Fridays. Anything else? Anybody?
Craig loves Cafe Rio cups, just half full on the desks, just so you know.
Yeah.
Way to bring up that sensitive subject.
I had already forgotten about it.
Was it
Like,
you?
I had totally forgotten about it at
What
that point.
happened?
John.
John
John.
loves his cup.
Alright, thanks guys, that's it. I'm going to lunch. Am I going to lunch?
Not
Yep.
yet.
Yes, I am going to lunch. Okay.
Hey, John, will you stop the iPad, please?
It's been going on.
Well,
Just slap it. How do I stop?